Hello, 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 and welcome to the College of Creation. My name is Dan.
And my name is Michael.
And my name is Teagan.
Yes, we have a guest. Hooray!
Hello.
A guest.
We love guests.
A third voice.
And yes, we are all Dungeons and Dragons DMs and GMs who love to homebrew items, spells, creatures, and features for D&D. And this is a show where we make brand new homebrew every single episode based on prompts that we get from our community. Welcome, Teagan. It's so great to have you here for our prompt this week. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little sick, so my voice is like just a bit squeakier than usual. But honestly, it's kind of in theme for what I homebrewed. So
Perfect.
I don't always sound like this though. So if you're like, man, I love the way her voice sounds, like don't get your hopes up out there.
You will be forgiven by our listenership. I am sure of it. But yes, indeed, this week we were prompted to create some non-humanoid playable species. Michael and I chatted a little bit about this at the tail end of last time. And specifically the interesting opportunities that this prompt presents, because there are versions of non-humanoid playable species for almost all of the other creature types. I think we're missing only a couple of them that don't have a playable species.
I think we found out that beast is the one that doesn't have a playable species. Everything else has one or something that's very closely...
Is there one for monstrosities?
There's gotta be. There's so many monstrosities that are like human shaped.
I don't know.
Yeah, right? You would think so. Like, I don't remember. Is it
I'm
Rakshasa?
sure some third party... there's got to be
monstrosity?
a partnered content something. There are a lot of partnered content species that are popping up now that are like quasi-official, that are in the horror realm. So I would not be shocked if there was a monstrosity or a monstrosity adjacent thing in there.
Sure, indeed. Well, this is a sort of fortuitous occasion because this is actually the first time in 70-some... How many episodes are we at, Michael? Help me.
This is episode 81.
81. In 81 episodes, this is the first full prompt that we have gotten for a playable species. Mm-hmm. So Teagan, welcome to
Thank you.
A College of Creation first.
I'm really glad to usher us into this new territory as a podcast.
I love it.
A joyous occasion for sure. Only one has been made, and I made it a while ago. It was for one of the open prompts that didn't really. It was the cotton candy one. Something.
Yeah, it was cotton candy creations.
I mean, I do feel like it is intimidating because if you mess up with power scaling, like it can, if a player plays with a character that's like either overpowered or underpowered, it can totally kill the momentum for all of the rest of the players in a campaign. So I feel like that's kind of a scary undertaking.
Yeah. Species are an interesting thing because it's an early character creation choice, and most species don't have consistent evolving benefits over the course of the character progression. It's usually you get some stuff that you start with, and it's just sort of the consistent things that you have. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're definitely right. If you're setting that bar just a little bit higher than the other ones, it creates a weird little imbalance there for sure. But before we get into the creations and the talking about the specific things, I want to introduce our listeners properly to you, Teagan. So tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your journey within the D&D or TTRPGs at large space, and specifically, within creating kind of your own things, your own worlds or homebrew or whatever else for the games that you run.
Yeah, I came sort of an interesting path, I would say. In high school and college, when I would hear about Dungeons and Dragons, I was very interested. I'm very much a theater kid, and a nerd, like a pretty big video game nerd.
So are we.
You're in
talking
great
to the
company
right
here
people.
for sure.
But like in college, especially, like I tried to join a couple of groups, but they sort of had this like, well, we don't want girls to play kind of a thing. Which really, it really sucked because it was like, you know, it was hard to get into. A few years after that, one of my coworkers was playing in a Pokemon TTRPG.
Nice.
That I cannot remember the name of.
So good.
It was a very bad. It was not a well-designed system, but basically the person who was running it really wanted to run a D&D campaign, and all of his friends thought that was too nerdy for them. So he pitched doing this Pokemon TTRPG, which in my mind is way nerdier. But they were like, "Oh, well, if
way
it's
better,
Pokemon,
guys. Yeah.
like if we can have Pokemon, then we'll play." And he was a phenomenal DM. Like I was really, really lucky to play with him for several years. But I didn't really get into DMing myself until like 2022, where I of course jumped in with the easy module of Curse of Strahd.
Nice.
And I learned
Super
a lot of lessons about DMing through that. And then I've sort of been very lucky where I've ended up in a place. I live in New York City, and I've been very lucky to end up. I DM part-time at a game shop here called Last Place on Earth, and the main table I'm running there is 6 players. It's a ladies' table, so it's an all women's table, which is amazing, and it's so amazing to see like places that are emphasizing creating space for women in a place that, you know, 10 years ago I struggled to find a place. And I also do like a lot of improvisational theater, and through that I met a lot of great people, and we've very recently started this live stream project that is an actual play show, but with a lot of interactivity from the audience, where I'm essentially like the chat DM, where I will DM for all the characters that get created, that the chat creates, and they sort of have their own side events that are happening, while the like main heroes are doing sort of their main quest events. And that is the Spell Guide, and that's on Twitch, and we're trying to, you know, do the live thing and then make it into a bunch of little bits and pieces.
Is that the project you were saying is coming up, or you've already started doing that?
We've already started doing that. Yeah, they're very short campaigns. They're designed to be like 2 to 5 sessions. So we're like on the 3rd of those right now, I want to say.
But you're doing like a co-DM thing?
Correct. Yeah. So there's the primary DM, who's my good friend Dean. And it's actually his role-playing system that he's been developing for like 5 or 6 years now. But he will like be the main DM on the screen, and then occasionally I'm like DMing in the chat, and then as needed I will like hop in and we will like role play together. Like we'll both be NPCs, or we'll like kind of swap places, or I'll like come in as some of the characters in the chat and say, hey, okay, Brana is doing this, and like this is what she says. And I was kind of nervous at first, like role playing as people's characters just from chat interactions, but it has been pretty well received so far, which I'm very grateful for.
That's awesome.
That's cool. I'd love to hear about the experience of creating, especially like world building and creating pieces of the story like we do with Homebrew, but also like all DMs and GMs do with expanding the world as their players interact with pieces of it. Doing that with somebody else, and like both of you playing off each other, playing off the players, and also not trying to like put each other into weird corners or like stretch you know his world beyond what he's willing to stretch it to, but also allowing you to be creative with it. Like how does that work? How does that interaction play out for you when you're creating these new things with each other?
Yeah, so Dean and I have, because we've done improv together for the past 3 years or so, I think we've become very comfortable with like kind of lobbing things at each other. And there have been some moments where like this is still all pretty new, like it's definitely in development. But there's been moments of like me passing him notes, or like me kind of having to like wave at him and say this is happening in the chat. Or like there's been moments in breaks where we've like kind of had to step away from the other players and say, hey, I really liked that you brought up in this case there was a hag who he had mentioned, and I was like, hey, I'm really into the idea of this hag like really wanting a memory from the king. So if there's a way that we can like put her in the way of the adventurers to like ask this of them, I think this would be a fun way to build out the world a little more. So it's just trying to find those moments, and then also like trusting each other.
Yeah.
And knowing that like no matter what direction I start to pull things, that it'll be something that he'll be able to incorporate, or that I'll be able to incorporate. But it's a big learning process too.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool and so interesting. Dan and I have been throwing around ideas of possible actual plays in the future, and co-DMing, even for just like, you know, some play tests for things that we've made on the channel, and we can't crack the code of how to successfully DM something together yet.
Yeah.
And that is such an interesting way of doing it. Because, you know, you defer to the main DM, I suppose, for like big picture things, but then you can come in and really iron out a lot of the detail work and rubber band that way.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because we very much have different priorities in the way that he is a very much like, I tend to want to have very drawn out, I really like crunchy, I really like resource management. Like, I really love digging into that. He hates all of that. He wants it to be like, all right, in 3 weeks happen. And I'm like, no. There's so much that can happen in the 3 weeks. But I think it's good in that because our brains are working on two very different levels, I can be thinking more about the continuity. I have, like, I work in, like, broadcast production.
Nice.
And so continuity is something that I'm constantly thinking of for work and always thinking of for D&D as well. I think some of the most satisfying moments are when you like leave a town and come back and things have happened and NPCs remember you and they've grown and they've like done things while you've been gone. I love moments like that.
Oh man.
And so if he can be thinking of like, okay, what are these players doing over 3 weeks? I can be thinking of how the world is changing in 3 weeks, and knowing that the changes that I come up with, he will accept, and the changes that he comes up with, I will accept. We really need to make a lore document, I think. But I think that's going to be on me. The onus is going to be on me to make that.
I know how that goes. But I totally agree with what you're saying. I love those ideas of all kinds of ways to expand the world, to find ways to build the world outside of what the players are interacting with, whether that's, you know, Michael and I have talked at length in the past about doing things like, you know, cold opens or doing cutaways to a different part of the world where like your players aren't seeing what's happening, but it's acknowledging that, you know, there is another world, there's other people out there, or, you know, running one shots in the same world as your party, but your party takes on different characters or something like that as a thing that happens in a different part of the world or a different time within the timeline, which I've done before, and it was a ton of fun. But also I just started, because I am also running at this point a huge reskin of Curse of Strahd. I've pulled it all into the Wild West. It's real wild.
Wait, I have to know, is Strahd like a cowboy or is he like an oil baron?
Yeah, Strahd is like an oil baron guy.
Nah.
He's just like a land baron.
I love
like
this.
Real manifest destiny. Like, you know, rode out with a bunch of people and like found the valley and, you know, decided to take everything of it that he could. You know, it's a whole thing. But they had a player character who died, and then we kind of brought him back, but the player was sort of like trying to figure out how to get this character to grow through that moment. So he actually left the party for a while to go like do his own thing. And in the meantime, he rejoined the party as a different character who, through reasons, kind of became a villainous entity for the rest of the party. Their ideals were very much at odds. And so he ended up leaving that party. I'm giving too much lore away, honestly. Michael, you can cut out as much of this as you want. But
note to editing, Michael.
Yeah.
his second character has now left the group and like has taken over what in my universe is the town of Vallaki.
Mm-hmm.
He is taken over there. He has like seated himself as like a worm tongue sort of figure, and is pushing the town towards industrialization because he is a railman. He is a railway stooge. That was his whole thing. He's a paladin who was like so dedicated to the railway. He's a company man. He wants to make Vallaki into a company town, right? And so for that, like, we have to figure out what the party is going to come back to when they return there, because they've left now for a good chunk of time and probably won't return there for a good while. So now I have the joy of doing an asynchronous chat with this player where we are playing out everything that he wants to do as his secondary villainous character in the town to figure out what it's going to look like when they return. So that's really fun to like have that experience of building the world out with the sort of collaboration element of another person whose perspective is entirely different from mine in terms of what they want to do and what pieces of the world they're interested in fleshing out. And those kinds of things are just so much fun.
That is so much fun. Yeah, I've also done, because I've been working on my own homebrew world for a while, but I was kind of nervous to play in it. Like I kind of made this little skeleton, and then I was really nervous to touch anything. But I also struggled with the concept of one shots for a long time because I had only ever done like long form campaigns. But I did like a historical one shot of like this epic battle that happened in the past in this kingdom. And that one shot has laid the ground for like so many other things that I have seeded in this world, and has like fully, that one shot spawned one like the campaign that I'm playing at the game store right now. It's like fully connected even though it's 150 years later, and for me, like, that's so, but they don't need to know about that. As long as I know about that, that's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's what makes it feel real. It makes it feel alive when you actually
Yeah.
play it and you actually see a moment happen.
It's wild how the most unexpected places sometimes will lend themselves to huge shifts in what you as a GM perceive to be like your main game or your home game or the most important storyline of your world. Because I've been playing in my own homebrew world for like 6 years now, and I've been building out with different groups and some one shots with players that don't even know anyone from my home table. And very similarly to you, there was one just kind of a throwaway game. There's just a 3-person party, really simple game, and one of those players, not a theater person, not an improv person, came in with the most lush backstory. He played a Warforged, and he made this whole lore for his character that I stole. I stole everything.
That's mine now, baby.
And it ended up becoming like
Thank you.
the crux of an entire kingdom, where they
love
had this like line of Warforged like warriors that they would recycle to make new warriors. And it was years ago, but I still talk to him about it to this day. Like, you saved a whole arc of my story by giving me this gift that was your backstory. And it never would have happened if he hadn't said, please, could you teach me how to play Dungeons & Dragons? Crazy.
It's collaborative storytelling, like, just at its heart.
It's so good. Yeah. The lifeblood.
Yeah,
of
that's
the entire
really
game,
what we mean
truly.
when we say it's collaborative storytelling, for sure.
Your friends
That's
make
so
up
cool.
stuff, and then you steal that stuff.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I take it.
Yeah,
and I
then
take
it's
it
yours.
from you.
Collaboration.
Exactly.
All I'm doing is embellishing on your idea. I'm just
Indeed.
taking it and embellishing.
Indeed. Well, in the interest of giving each other ideas that we can shamelessly steal and put into our games, shall we get into some creations, folks?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Shall we roll off to see who's going to present their creation first?
Historically, I've
Everybody's got
rolled
dice
incredibly low.
because we always have dice. Ooh, I rolled low this time though.
I got a 9.
I got a 3.
I got a 12, so
all right.
I think this is
beginner's
the third
luck.
Time.
What can we
third time
say?
in a row, the
I
guest
think
is
so.
going first.
I think so. The guest always goes first, and I promise we're not just saying that we roll terribly to force you to go first.
Right? Yeah.
And if you would like for one of us to go first, you certainly may throw that honor upon us.
No.
If you're interested, I would love to hear what your creation is today, Teagan.
So I'm pretty excited about this. There's, I think, Teagan fact that you should know up top. I mean, number 1, I live in New York City, best city in the world. Number 2, I love rats. Rats are like some of the best creatures. And I'm like, if Laura Bailey can be a tiny fairy, I can play a tiny rat.
Yeah.
And this is what I would like to bring to the homebrew gods today. Is what I'm calling the enlightened rat species. You'll note that it is enlightened rats and not awakened rats. And I think that's very important to me because, to me, these enlightened rats, the species, comes from very urban environments where there is a lot of residual magical energy. And sort of the unintended consequences of these magical cities is this long exposure to magic that creates enlightenment in these rats. So it is a beast as the creature type. Its size is tiny, and its speed 20 feet, climb 20 feet, jump 5 feet. I got really excited about doing a rat character because, as I said, rats are really great little creatures. They're very, very smart, very social. I feel like they lend themselves very well. And the lazy DM in me is like, there's already a stat block for rats. Part of that does come from this with some changes. The dark vision, they get dark vision to 30 feet, comes from their stat block, as well as agile, meaning that their movement does not provoke opportunity attacks, which,
Ooh.
I mean, imagine playing an enlightened rat rogue where you can, disengage, essentially, without having to use any of your... That would be pretty sick.
Disengage. Just get out of there. Nice.
Perfect.
The other thing that comes from their stat block is their bite attack, but I have changed it to be plus your proficiency bonus, as well as I've added a damage increase as they level. Reason being, I don't know, it seems right. Felt right.
Balance scaling. No, yeah.
Go with what you feel. Yeah.
In one of my campaigns, I have a character who really loves to homebrew her stuff, and she's playing kind of a variated dampire, where she specifically wanted her bite attack to scale similarly to a monk's, which I allowed, but only if she's using bludgeoning as opposed to piercing and doesn't get any of the benefits of doing a piercing attack, so she can choose, because she's a barbarian. So I'm like, you can chomp those chompers down real hard and do bludgeoning. Anyways, this is a tangent, but that's sort of where I got the idea to do some scaling damage with that bite attack. The additions are fun rat fact time. I know you weren't expecting to have a rat fact part of this podcast, but here it is. Rats can squeeze through any space that their head can go through. So as long as their skull can go through, their bodies can. And I thought that would be a really fun addition to explicitly have in the mechanics. So flexibility, you can squeeze through gaps as small as 2 inches in diameter. Imagine
Nice.
You, enlightened rat, kind of going in and out of the walls as you're in this fight. Pretty fun.
It's like an ooze. Oozes have that too, right? Where you can squeeze in a 1 inch, as long as it's 1 inch thick, you can squeeze through it without, squeezing or taking damage or anything.
Yeah.
I also thought it would make sense for them to have speak with animals. So this one I stole pretty much from the forest gnome species, like their like subspecies benefit. As an enlightened rat, I thought it would make a lot of sense for them to be able to communicate with other animals. But I did give it the same like limitation as the forest gnomes have. And then there is a bit of a debuff in with tiny combatants. It's really hard to say like, okay, you're tiny, that means you probably can't lift, like if you have a strength of 12, you probably can't lift a regular human strength of 12, right? So I did add, and I did I looked at a couple of other homebrew of various tiny combatants to kind of get an idea of what some other people have done, but I didn't want to like overbrew it, especially since I based this off of the 2024, and the 2024 is really kind of scaled back on what they have for their species, right? But I did add just this little thing in, and like you can only wield miniature versions of normal weapons, and the dice rolls for that gets halved specifically. So Tiny Greatsword deals 1d6 instead of 2d6, but you still get your plus for your modifiers. Since modifiers in 2024 are not at all based on species, that's not going to be affected for the most part. Though I think your DM can probably use some smarts in saying, no, you're a rat, you can't lift that 100-pound thing.
Right.
You're a rat. Amazing. Can I be a pile of rats? Can I be like just a few rats? Sort of a rat king?
I think you roll a charisma check and like convince some of your rat buddies to like really get in a swarm with you.
Okay, so
then
this
you're
would be
like
sort
leading
of
a rat
summoning
army
situation.
I think
like,
so.
Okay.
Maybe you feel a little like if you're like a rat druid and you feel kind of complex about summoning your like unenlightened kind. Perhaps you're trying to go around and get all the like rats who aren't enlightened to become enlightened. A rat cleric of some kind. There's a lot of fun options.
Hypering all of your unenlightened friends.
How to turn this rat into a viable barbarian is sort of the goal in my brain.
Oh,
I think I would need to figure out how to summon a bunch of other rats, and then we can all function as like one barbarian.
One Megazord barbarian. Yeah, 100
like...
rats.
Honestly, if I saw 100 rats all piled together rushing at me, I would be scared.
Terrifying.
I would be. Yeah. I would be worried for my safety.
Horrific.
So I think it would give me the same feeling that a single barbarian would give me. So,
but yeah, one of the nice things about being a rat is you're very unassuming. Like people don't see you and immediately think, this rat is spying on us for our kingdom secrets. I think there's a lot of fun role play things you could do with just being a rat who is like as normally smart and wise as any other humanoid playable species, but you also look like a rat and run like a rat and talk to rats.
Right.
I do really like the idea of like a character in a party that isn't like an animal folk, isn't like a beast folk, right? Isn't like a bipedal fox or whatever else, but is just like a full animal, but like can speak and like, you know, it's a very Rocket Raccoon kind of thing where it's just like, that's just a raccoon.
Yeah.
And yes, he wears a shirt, but like, you know, this is really just a raccoon who can talk. It's
very like Remy the Rat. Like if Remy the Rat could just actually talk, I think that he acts like a person. And rats can stand on 2 feet. But he's not a ratkin by any means. Like this is not...
Right. This is
ratkin are very different. This is just, he's a normal rat. He's rat-sized. Oh, there were a couple of the other lore changes that I made. Rats typically live 2 to 3 years. Very sad. Very sad. But as an enlightened rat, I imagine that the enlightenment has like magically increased their lifespan. So it's like 12 to 15 years. So a little more like Aarakocra. Though I think they live a little bit longer than that, but...
Yeah, there's like 30 to 35 or something like that. 25 to 35.
So you're not making like a rat who's just like, well, I only live 2 years anyway, so I got nothing to lose.
I mean...
I will run into every battle.
I got 30 minutes left. How much can we get done? Yeah, that's good. That's very fun. I really do like that idea of just a beast, just a full beast, not a beast human hybrid, just a rat.
Just a rat.
Love it.
Yeah, this is like truly the New York City version of any of the humble folk, like from the Humblewood setting.
Oh yeah,
They're just like little critters running around the forest. This is little critters running around the alleyways.
Hey, he's walking here. He's getting some pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
As
Splashing
is
through
his
puddles.
right.
Like,
The city was theirs
picking up
long
trash.
before it was ours. Respect their territory. All right. Yeah, beautiful.
oh, this
Love
is
it.
great. I love this so much.
Thank you.
Oh, nice. Michael, how about you? I think you're up next.
Yeah, I came with 2 species today.
Ooh, overachieving.
I know, I probably could have done more, actually. I had a harder time paring down my ideas than anything. I also tried my hardest to make a beast, and my brain just could not type the words that I needed
Yeah, that's okay.
for a beast to work. I just kept thinking like like turtles exist and leonins exist and tabaxis, and like these are all just beasts that are humanoid.
They're human shaped. They're human shaped beasts.
And they're human shaped, and I couldn't get that out of my head. I was like, I know there's a way to do it, and I'm not the guy to do it. So I gave up on that, and so I'm so happy that you made a rat because
Beautiful.
Proof positive that it is possible. But I hard pivoted, and I just tried to make something a little bit silly. My first one here, this is called the RPM. This is a construct. It's made primarily of metals and other scavenged or excavated materials. Most of them resemble small modern vehicles. These are little car folks. These are little car guys.
Oh my god,
Oh
RPM.
my
Jeez,
God.
I just got it.
It's called an RPM.
It's like, what is this name? Is it? Are you using like a scientific name? No, just
an RPM.
Yep.
Yeah, revolutions per minute. They're powered by an arcane engine that resides inside of the chassis. Anatomically, they exist at a unique disadvantage because they move on wheels and not legs. So, like, mountains are tough. But they are assembled with arm-like appendages that they can use to carry supplies and hold weapons or interact with the world around them. As a species in general, RPMs tend to be followers more than leaders, but now and then their kind seeks a break in ranks and an adventure arises. Most of them are content just running races for enjoyment, working as messengers, or running errands for the creatures that assembled them. Here are the traits. Their construct, the size is medium, about 3 to 4 feet wide. I felt like it was important to put the width in there because they are made of pretty rigid metal, so like they can't like squeeze through gaps like a normal. Yeah. And then 3 to 5 feet tall, depending on what your make and model is. And I put their speed at 40 feet, so they are faster than a typical legged creature.
That makes sense.
Ka-chow.
Does lightning strike in the same place twice? Ka-chow, ka-chow.
You made the cars from Cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the cars.
Love
Well,
it.
and that's what I was thinking. Like, my first thought with this, I was originally just going to do this and nothing else. Once I focused on this idea, I was like, maybe getting into the dangerous territory of like the marked species. Like, this is just an elf, but it has the mark of a beast or the mark of teleportation or whatever.
Oh, that's fun.
So they have like the
sub-
same
subspecies,
basic
yeah.
traits, but this one's a tow truck, and this one's a school bus, and this one's a race car. But that seemed a bit too expansive.
So many subspecies.
Yeah, hundreds subspecies.
You need a
This was
subspecies with
dragster.
the 4-wheel drive trait, you know.
Yeah, this one's an EV. I went with just the bare bones, just the LT model for today. It has a climate control feature. You and a number of creatures up to your choice, equal to your Constitution modifier, within 5 feet of you are immune to the effects of extreme heat and extreme cold. So you have heat and air conditioning. You also have pressurized tires. You're unable to swim below the surface of a body of water or jump vertically. However, you are unaffected by difficult terrain caused by slippery ice. Your jump distance is doubled, and you can float on water even if you are unconscious. So if it does drop to 0 hit points, you can just push it out to sea and make death saving throws away from danger. And then you also have the slick filter feature. Your body can naturally expel external dangers you are immune to or can remove as an action the conditions below under the following stipulations. So this is just like flushing the engine, getting your fluids changed, things like that. Right off the rip, you're immune to the blinded, charmed, and deafened conditions. They just don't affect you. You're a construct. You can, as an action, after 1 minute, remove the frightened or poisoned condition. After 10 minutes, remove the incapacitated or stunned condition. After 30 minutes, remove the paralyzed or petrified condition. And then every long rest, you remove 2 levels of exhaustion instead of just 1. So not a lot of active stuff that this species does. It's just a survivor. It's just immune to stuff and can survive in harsh conditions and move fast.
Pretty resistant little guy. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. And then the second one, I call this the SB. The SB were created during an experiment, originally intended as a new polymer for RPM tires. The experiment failed, but in an instance of accidental success, the arcane scientists of Arcanotech Industries managed to synthesize a rubbery substance capable of imprinting other creatures temporarily. Thus, the SB were born. There are very few SB out in the wild, as most are employed still within the labs, but those that do venture outside the walls do so with excitement, wonder, and glee. Every task they choose is a new game. Every new creature they meet is a potential new friend. If, however, a friend shows aggression towards an SB or its allies, it will not hesitate to leap into the throes of battle. So just happy and dumb.
Okay.
Just willing to take on the world.
I mean, it's been a really long time since I've seen the worldwide hit known as Flubber.
It's Flubber.
This is Flubber, right? Okay, good.
Flubber? Okay. I'm trying to figure out what is the pun with the name. What am I missing with the name?
So SB, it's just SP for silly putty.
Silly putty. Silly putty.
Silly
there
putty.
It is.
SP.
Okay. Yep. There it is.
So yes, I drew inspiration from a couple different things. I figured out much too late. This is kind of a chip off of Dan's Pokemon subclass. A couple months ago, Dan made a Ditto themed subclass, a Ditto Druid, which was very cool. This is kind of in the same realm as that, but not any of the same mechanics. So I let it slide.
Yeah, I like it.
But you are an ooze. You are either medium or small, your choice, and your speed is up to 30 feet. Essentially, I view this as like a Gumby type of creature. You can kind of form yourself into some type of just squishy little creature, however you want to look. Mm-hmm. At first, I was going to do just onomatopoeias for these names, and then I couldn't figure that out. So the first one is one, and then I don't come back to that. The first trait is called Boink Whip. You are resistant to bludgeoning damage and immune to fall damage.
Nice.
Simple as that. You just bounce. Yeah, things bounce off of you. You bounce off of things. You also have the Hold Fast trait. If you successfully grapple another creature, that creature also has the Restrained condition until the grapple is broken. Additionally, if another creature grapples you, that creature gains the Restrained condition until the grapple is broken.
That's so good. That's great.
Either way, if you are grappled or if they're grappled, they're restrained.
Love it.
And then the imprinting trait, which I think is supposed to be the crux of this, even though it's kind of last in the lineup here. If you reduce another creature to 0 hit points with an unarmed strike, or while otherwise physically touching it, you can gain 1 trait that it possessed. So you retain that trait until you use this trait again or complete a long rest.
Oh, that's fun.
You just take whatever they have. And a lot of stat blocks, lower level stat blocks, don't have a lot of traits, so there's a good chance that you don't get anything. But as you go through and you level up, a lot of mid to higher level creatures, you could have some good options.
Oh yeah,
there's some cool ones. There's some very useful ones. Pack Tactics, Blood Frenzy.
Pack Tactics, Flyby, Blood Frenzy. Yeah.
Flyby. There's some good traits there that could be very cool to have for at least one combat until you rest. Yeah.
The
Very fun.
strategizing too.
Yeah.
Like trying to strategize your party to make sure that your ooze companion always gets the last blow, especially on
Right.
like higher level bosses, is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Or
But
just
also
as
very
grappling
interesting.
them. Like you're if you grapple them, you restrain them. You're very hard to get off of them. Like if you're just like, I'm just gonna grab this guy, and then if it goes to 0 while I'm holding onto it, that counts, right? Do you? Well, no. Do you have to reduce it? No, it's not. If it is reduced, it's if you reduce it.
If
to 0.
you reduce it, so you
okay,
have
so
to
you do have to get the
really-
last hit.
Yeah, but hopping onto it right away is not a bad idea.
No,
Restraining an enemy so everyone else can hit it easier,
it's awesome.
and then you take that final blow, just a single punch to the noggin, one unarmed strike to your restrained foe.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like a rubber ooze. Like we usually get like the Jello ooze kind of concept for species and things like that and monsters. But like I like the rubbery ooze kind of vibe. That's fun.
Thank you. Every time I create something on the show, I give myself one rule, and my one rule for this one was to not fall back on the fitting within a space 1 inch or less.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just like get away from it because every ooze is like that. The plasmoid is like that. Any homebrew ooze species that I've seen has that on there, and I wanted to try and just make something kind of divorced from the idea of what oozes are.
Mm-hmm.
My original idea was to make something like a garbage ooze, just like a collection of trash. And it was gonna be something like that where the imprinting was still on there, like you're just, as you go, you drop another creature to 0 and you just collect them, and that's how you got there. Yeah, you're just kind of just sweeping them up into your body, and that seemed to I mean, that's probably right for somebody somewhere, but I do like this a lot better. This seems like a nice clean slate where a player would have a lot of agency to make this how they want it, and not necessarily have to be super gross to do it. So I do like this better than my original idea. But that's all I have this week.
Great. I think that's really fun. RPM
Thanks.
got me for sure.
Thanks, man. What did you come with?
Well, let's see. So I have certainly a great love, perhaps my greatest love, although it changes all the time, for a certain property that has been going strong for many, many decades now, and that is Jim Henson's Muppets. The Muppet movie is and has been one of my favorite movies forever. Just the whole concept of the whole Jim Henson creation studio is so fascinating and cool to me. And just the like vaudevillian slapstick type of comedy just really works for me in particular. And so what else could I do but make Muppets into a proper D&D playable species? And so I give you the Felt Folk, including a little piece of art that was provided actually as an April Fool's gift to me from the players of my Wild West reskin of Curse of Strahd. They changed all of their Discord images to Muppet versions of their characters for the
It's so
April
good.
1st session that we did. And they did it like all in sync when I started my recap of the previous session, and I had no idea that they had been planning this with an artist for months. It was incredible. So the Felt Folk are beings that resemble humanoids, beasts, or other unidentifiable creatures, crafted of fabric and infused with a whimsical vaudevillian nature. Felt folk are commonly found dwelling among other beings and are deeply involved in their community as performers, bards, or actors, or as historians and teachers. Effortlessly charming, innately talented, and often raucously funny, Felt folk are always welcomed and treated well, even with their various idiosyncrasies. Few people understand the true craft that animates these beings, and even fewer concern themselves over it, instead treating them as the creatures they are facsimiles of, and otherwise ignoring their eccentricities. For the felt folk themselves, being naturally gifted in charm and performance as they are, most find themselves leaning towards one of two specialties. So your traits are that you are a construct. You are usually small, but occasionally medium. Most Muppets are smaller than an average person by about 2/3. So being somewhat small and having to move in a somewhat strange way, your speed is only 25 feet. But you also have a number of special traits, including Performer's Gift. You gain proficiency in performance, as well as in one musical instrument of your choice. And you also get to choose an Entertainer's Bailiwick. So you gain a specialty in a specific style of performance, either comedian or host. Choose your bailiwick and gain the level 1 benefit of your chosen style, and when you reach character level 4, you learn a higher level spell as shown on the table, and always have that spell prepared. You can cast it once without a spell slot, and you regain that ability every long rest. And you can also cast it using spell slots as you wish, but Charisma is your spell casting ability for the spells you cast with this trait. So as the comedian, you take 2 less damage from sources that deal bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. So you're just a little more practiced in slapstick. And you also know the Vicious Mockery cantrip. And at level 4, you learn and can cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter. As the host, you can use the help action even if you do not have proficiency in the chosen skill. And you'll always know the Friends cantrip, and targets you choose do not know they were charmed by you. And at level 4, you gain the Enthrall spell. And finally, your last feature is that you have a confounding form. Your legs are oddly never visible, but nobody comments on it. So you always have half cover. You're only ever seen from at most the waist up. Somehow, something is always just obscuring your lower half a little bit. There's a cart in the way. You know, you're in a building and just behind a window ledge.
Incredible.
A man just happens to be walking past with a load of cabbages. You know,
yeah,
whatever it is, you just always have half cover.
Out from behind the cart, the camera pans.
There's honestly something that feels like divine about that to me.
Yeah,
like there is like these constructs are like divinely infused with this whimsical vaudevillian nature.
Honestly, who knows? Is there a Jim Henson as deity? Is there room for that in a D&D world? Maybe.
There's always room for more deities.
That's what you say, and then you start building a pantheon, and you realize very quickly that you've made too many.
Is he more divine deity or more patron?
That's the question. Is it Warlock patron vibes?
Archfey?
Yeah. Is Jim Henson an Archfey? It's possible.
I
It's
100%
possible,
am putting an Archfey in my world that's based on Jim Henson.
Nobody can do that many voices and also create characters that feel very much alive. It's fascinating to learn some of the like weird little tricks about how you craft the thing and the way you make it move to make it feel like it is an actual person. And it's a thing that it seems like he had weird like extra planar knowledge of that nobody else could ever know, and it was just
truly like, otherworldly.
Jim Henson had to learn it from somewhere and gave his knowledge to others, because like you look at other puppets from the time and like even past that time, and it's just like people don't know what they're doing with this all the time. Like it doesn't, if it's not a Muppet, it doesn't feel like a Muppet. It's weird.
Man, I'm so glad that you fully fleshed that out. It was
I needed to give it the
worth
full
the
treatment.
wait.
Yes.
Well worth the wait. Yeah. I'm so happy that nothing was super serious in any
No,
of
we
our
didn't go
creations
very.
today. A couple of my very first ideas were like, what's like I thought about maybe doing an aberration. I used to play a lot of Halo when I was younger, and I was going to do something based on the elites from Halo, because they're very cool.
Yeah.
They have extensive lore, and they have really cool abilities like cloaking, and they have their plasma swords. And I was like, this could be really neat. And I was like, I don't know if I want to come to the table with a bunch of edgelord stuff this week. I'd rather just make animated cars and Silly Putty. So I am happy that the two of you also came with just silly little creatures, because that's the way the game should be played.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about doing some like alternate elemental stuff, like similar to Genasi, but like expanding it out beyond the like 4 primary elements and into like further elements, which I have done on like a one character basis. Who like I made an ice Asimar or an ice Genasi for a player as like a one off. But I've always thought it would be cool to have more versions of those things, but it just didn't feel like the vibe for like, let's just, it feels like, especially non-humanoid playable species is just such a good prompt for just like, do something silly, do something
little
like
guys
a bit off the wall and just make a little guy.
Make something crazy.
Yeah, the non-humanoid part of it was tricky because I felt like I would keep thinking of other things and then I'd be like, no, that's basically a humanoid. Like I really wanted to do something that was very specifically not human shaped.
Right. Well, and that's what we were talking a little bit at the end of the previous episode. Like, what are the strictures for this prompt? Like, is the line at if the case can be made for it to be a humanoid, does that discount it altogether? Like, an Asimar could, in some regard, be assumed to be a celestial to some percentage, but like,
and Goliath rides the line.
It's a
like,
human.
Are you giant?
It's a humanoid.
But you're really, it's like there's a strong enough argument to be made that it's a humanoid. So I agree, and I'm glad that you went with that. The full beast here.
Yeah,
there's definitely some cool ideas I think to be found across like various niches that haven't been hit and maybe are a little bit more. Gosh, do I want to say viable for actual play? That feels rude, but
I have this mental image of like having a very sort of almost dramatic pastoral scene that you're describing, and they crest a hill and they see just a wild like flock of RPMs just driving around the field and really breaking the immersion in an insane way.
Just like the ones across like the grain fields are all like they're all like combine harvesters.
They're all tractors.
Well, I wonder how far you could get along with like you see these metal constructs hard in a day's work. Like how far could you get into this description before they realize exactly what it is you're describing to them?
Yes. So it's just cars. Okay. Great. So it's just the farmland outside of Radiator Springs. Yeah.
I would ride the line of treating them like they are livestock, right? Like describing the scene as if I was describing a field full of cows, but actually it's just like tractors.
Well, I mean, because in cars, aren't there like cow vehicles?
They're tractors. Yeah,
they are tractors. So I feel like
okay, so that's what I'm describing.
Have a world where RPMs is a species, but then you also have like the tractor version, which is more like a beast construct.
Wait a second. Hold on. Wait, so there are tractors. Hold on. There are tractors that are cows that are livestock and are not sentient in the way that that Lightning McQueen is sentient.
Correct. There are also car flies, so they're like car, so everything in the Cars universe it is
you can't think about it too much. It's brain breaking.
Is a motorized vehicle.
Okay, wait.
The bugs are cars.
The bugs
the
are
animals
cars.
are cars.
The animals are cars.
People
are the animals.
The birds.
Wait, hold on.
Planes.
What are the
that
tractors
are
doing?
sentient.
What are they doing? Are they harvesting grain, or are they just okay? Are they
the only thing?
Are they being raised for? Milk production, is that a thing that happens here?
Well, they like
do the
drink
tractors
gasoline,
produce oil?
right? Something like that.
They drink gasoline, and the way that they go to the doctor is getting oil changes, right? My son went through a big car phase. He's 4 now.
You know the lore.
So it's just passed. I've watched Cars 1, 2, and 3 about 1,000 times each.
There's a
well steeped in the lore.
There's so many things about the Cars universe that is deeply unsettling to me.
Crazy.
One of them is that why is there
The school bus.
Why is there a school bus?
Why is
there a car
bus?
school bus? What does the car school bus do?
I will say the only school bus you ever see throughout the trilogy is not working for a school system. It's like a demolition derby bus, kitted out with like buzz saws and stuff. Her name is Miss Fritter, and she is the reigning champion of the demolition mud derby.
You also have like the
So
the trailer tractor who's like transporting
Mac, yeah,
Lightning McQueen,
Mhm.
right? Who's technically like an empty vessel for.
yeah.
But my favorite Cars fact is that I can't remember the exact line of logic, but in the Cars universe, 9/11 did happen.
Yeah.
There's like a Cars 9/11. So figure that one out.
Hold on. So wait. Okay. There's too many. We don't necessarily have time.
We don't have enough time.
I mean, I have
This is
other
not
questions.
This is not the premise of our
I have lots of other
podcast.
questions, but I am glad that you at least dipped a toe into making that universe exist within our universe, because you have also established that all of this was involving Arcanotech Industries, which also means that it has to be canon within whatever world we write anything in.
Correct.
Truly, Teagan, if you have any other tips about writing a whole entire universe together with another person, we'll take them anytime. But for now, we should probably leave it at that.
Probably.
Next episode.
No more Cars time.
Next time.
Yeah, Teagan will have you back next episode to just talk about Cars, actually. No new creations.
So I'm thinking like
And
plane, like
dissecting
the
the Cars
plane of
lore.
Cars, actually. Like it can be one of the planes, maybe like in between the Celestial and like
Mechanus, but it's just vehicles.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Mechanus. That makes so much more sense than what Mechanus
Mechanus
actually
just for
is.
cars.
It's just the Cars universe.
Yep,
Oh my
that'll
God.
work. That'll work out just fine. Oh my goodness. Well, beautiful. Such a joy to have you on. Thank you for creating with us and all of that. Would you like to do us the honor of rolling for what me and Michael's next prompt is going to be?
Yes, I'd love to. What an honor.
Wonderful.
gosh.
I'm going to pull up our list of homebrew prompts that we get from our listeners. And hey, if you've got a prompt that you are interested in hearing us make on the show, you can send us an email over at collegeofcreationpod@gmail.com, or you can come on over to the Patreon. That's patreon.com/collegeofcreationpod, and you can join at the free tier. You can get the PDFs of all of the creations that we've ever done at that level, and you can shoot us over a message, say, hey, how's it going? And we'd love to hear from you there and hear your prompts for us to create. Teagan, give me a D20 roll.
All right, here it is. It's a 15.
A 15. Ooh, a 15.
I've been waiting for this one. I've
is
been
going
waiting
to
for this
be,
one.
An update on a College of Creation entry that you did not originally create.
Ooh.
So, in this case, Michael will be updating something of mine or possibly something of one of our guests, although I would ask consent first, please, Michael.
Yeah, I think we're
And
just
I
gonna
will be
doing stuff
updating
from each
something
other.
of Michael's or something from one of our guests. And maybe make a couple of changes of our own to see if we can, if not make it better, just kind of make it our own, perhaps.
Yeah, I think the sentiment of this prompt was not to improve on the original, was to just steer it in a direction that we would have gone in. Because the interesting thing about this show, especially prompts like making a subclass for a specific class, we will do this all the time where we just like brush past each other, where there's just a small amount of overlap. So we were just like, we were in the same headspace, but going in two different directions. And I always find those prompts so interesting because I think like one small change in my thought process, I could have been where you were and vice versa. So where would I have gone had I gone down that other path? This is a very interesting prompt. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I'll be interested to dig into this. It is kind of like finding somebody else's homebrew that they've published or buying it from DM's Guild or whatever, and then just sort of tweaking it to your own purposes, because all of our games are different. We're always like tweaking the things that we find in the official books or in unofficial books and making them work and make sense for our games. So it feels very much in the spirit of that. So great. Thanks for that prompt, for rolling it for us, Teagan. And thanks for that prompt, welcome. Ben Taylor.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
Well, it was such a joy to have you. Please tell the people where they can find you. Obviously, the spell guide will be ongoing, but all of the other places that you can be found.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me on. I can be found at the Spell Guide on Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also follow me personally on Twitch or Instagram, and that's Shakespeare Jones is what that is. I stream not as regularly as I used to, but sometimes. And I don't know, my dog's pretty cute, so Instagram's a great place to see that.
Can confirm. Did see the dog earlier.
Beautiful.
He gets very excited when I'm talking. He's like, clearly you're talking to me, and you want to pet me. Like that's why you're speaking. But yeah, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. And I'm excited to hear and see what you guys come up with in the future.
Amazing. We love it. And hopefully we'll have you back sometime in the future. We'd love that so much.
With my regular voice? Woo.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys can handle it.
Compare the 2 episodes,
Well, great. With that, until the next time, Michael, do you have anything to say to the people before we say goodbye? Michael always has something to say to the people before we say goodbye.
I do always have something to say to the people before we say goodbye. This one, in the spirit of this episode, I'm gonna keep it very brief. If you're used to playing just like a dwarf or elf or human, play a fun little creature instead. The next, not even for your full campaigns. You can keep your serious species for your serious games. Play a one-shot as a wad of silly putty. Play a one-shot as a rat. Just do it once and see how you like it. Just let go and be the dumbest thing you've ever imagined, because it's so much fun. Maybe not all the time. There is health in moderation. For a little bit, just be a silly little thing.
Just be a little guy.
Just be a little guy, and you won't regret it. That's all. See you later.
Role-playing games are games, and they can be intense sometimes, but they also are games, so they should be fun.
They should be fun.
Make room for fun at your games.
Gotta be fun.
Yeah.
Gotta be fun. All right, gang. Well, listeners, Michael, Teagan, it's been a pleasure. We will talk to you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.